Hi, everyone. Right, so I see the participant numbers are stabilizing, so I'm going to assume that whoever wants to be in this room is already here, and we shall start. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on which part of the world you're joining us from. I'm Clara Lim, and I work for DADU, the Children's Museum of Qatar. And today with me, I have my colleague, Sheikh Yahya Al-Thani, and we'll be talking to you about the DADU approach. Wait, I'm just seeing a quick chat. Okay, all good. So firstly, what is a children's museum, and what do people do in a children's museum? Well, we hope play, really. So today we're going to be unpacking what play means in a museum context, what Dadu play means, and actually Dadu, the Arabic word itself, actually means the marks of play. It is, for example, when you're swinging and you leave the foot marks in the grass, you know, the two lines where your feet are dragging on the ground, that in Arabic is called Dadu. When children or even adults are drawing or making carvings into stone, into walls, it's a very classical word to refer to these as Dadu. So they are the marks of play, and play is extremely central to our museum. So let's start. Let's go to the next screen. Hang on, it seems to be a bit glitchy, but okay. So today we're trying to make our presentation a little bit interactive. If you have a mobile phone, please go ahead and scan the QR code, and you will be taken to AHA Slides, a different website where you can join in the games and the questionnaires. And if you are on a PC, you can go into ahaslides.com/CZCT3 to access it. Okay, so I'm going to take a few minutes to give you this screen. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to flip over to this. So that is a test question, but we also really want to get to know you a little bit. Where in the world are you joining from today? Qatar, Education City. Well, Education City is in Qatar, I assume. From Saudi, from Jordan. Looks like loads of people from Qatar, from Doha. Okay. So how are we all enjoying the weather today? For those that are outside of Doha, it's with a terrible sandstorm, and we're covered under a cloud of dust, but probably a good reason to be indoors. Any more submissions? Are you struggling to access it? If you are, you can scan this code again. Okay, I'm going to leave this up for a few seconds. Okay, so looks like there are loads of locally based participants. That's great, because as Dadu Children's Museum of Qatar, we are working a lot with our community. So I hope that this isn't the first time you've heard of us. If it is the first time that you've heard of us, please do seek us out, and we would love to engage with you as in your school. So right, okay, so I'm going to skip on. Now, within the AHA slide screen, you'll see ask a question as well. Now, you can ask questions in the Zoom chat. Unfortunately, unless I actually click on it, I can't actually see your comments. And if I have it open, then you wouldn't be, you'll see it in the corner of my screen. So you can put on these questions, and we will come to them at the end of the presentation. Okay, so let us start proper. So who are we? What is our mission? What does Dadu exist to do? Well, what our mission is to offer support and opportunities to each child in Qatar. And what the opportunities we'd like to provide? It really is a chance for children to develop their character, their personality, their ambitions, their talents, their skills, and their knowledge. And really, we are about learning, and we're about family bonding. Now, our vision stems from the Qatar National Vision 2030, but our vision is really to nurture children, to stimulate them, to support them, to develop their creativity, to develop compassion, generosity, trustworthiness, to be good people, to be good human beings, and to be able to contribute confidently to a sustainable future. So earlier I mentioned, where did we come from? Where did this framework of which we derived our vision and mission from? It is very much from the Qatar's national vision, where there's the pillars of human development, social development, economic development, and environmental development. So taking these four, we read through the Qatar's national vision and also the different plans and documents moving forward. And there was very little reference really to children specifically. And so we unpacked Qatar's national vision together with parents, together with the community, together with thought leaders in the museum industry, thought leaders in education and child development, and also in community development. And we broke it down and said, what does this actually mean for children who will be involved or who will be responsible and who will be part of Qatar's national vision in 2030. And so we broke this down and we came up with our GADU strategic aims. So for us, a huge thing that underpins everything that we do is family engagement, because we know that the family is the first influence of children. And by family, we mean it in the widest terms. We mean the trusted adults of the children. So, at certain times, this could be their primary carer, it could be their parents, it could be their grandparents, it could be their nannies, it could be their teachers, it could even be their peers. So this circle grows as a child grows. We are part of Qatar Museums. And so for us, it's about bringing the vernacular of museums, the vocabulary of museums, the etiquette of museums, the enjoyment of museums, the habit of visiting museums and consuming and being part and participating and influencing museums to be part of childhood in Qatar. And by this, we hope that we can support the population to really embrace as well and to take full advantage of our sister museums, the Museum of Islamic Art, the National Museum of Qatar, the newly opened 321 Museum, and more. We then filtered down to some of our other strategic aims. So literacy and lifelong learning is a big part of what we would like to put forward. Now, when we talk about literacy, we're not teaching the alphabet. We're not teaching phonics. We know that schools cover this effectively and well enough. What we are is to complement and to support schools so that children understand and they see the value of literacy. They can see it at play in a museum. They can see that it is the key to lifelong learning. Creative skills is a huge part of Qatar Museums. Art, culture, design is a big part of what we do. But we want to support children in developing their creative skills, but also the expression and dissemination of their creativity. We also have health and wellness. We talk about physical health, but beyond that, I think our last 2.5 years of COVID has really shown us the sheer importance of emotional and mental well-being. We talked about confidence, motivation, and leadership. There's a lot of research around the world that show how disfranchised children are feeling, how how unmotivated they feel, or how distant they feel from what's going on in the world. And we believe that children with the right motivation, with the right confidence, can become leaders, and they can become leaders today, not tomorrow. Often we hear people telling us, "Oh yes, children are our future. Children are the leaders of tomorrow," and we say no. With confidence and with the right motivation, they can be the leaders of today. We don't seek to accommodate children. We seek to give them a role today. Value the environment and sustainability feed directly to the pillars of environmental sustainability. The environmental pillar of the Qatar National Vision. And with value the environment, we know that children and even adults, really, we all know reduce, reuse, recycle, repair. But why is it that we still have issues today? It's because of a disconnect from the environment. It could come from nature deficit disorder. It could come from us living in such urban environments. And Doha is a highly urban environment with beautiful natural habitats outside of Doha. But a huge number of children in Doha and even adults do not leave the city. So value the environment is about building a connection. It's about feeling, empathizing, feeling at one with nature, with the environment. And with that feeling, people are then motivated, children are then motivated, and hopefully they make different decisions than us. And that's where sustainability comes into play, where we look at sustainability as the skills, but also the values, the different values that are able to come into play when making a decision to balance economic sustainability, environmental sustainability, as well as social sustainability. Heritage and culture and global citizenship comes hand in hand to us. Heritage and culture, by heritage and culture, we are talking about Qatar's heritage and culture, but we are also very much talking about the myriad of family identities, national identities, and ethnic identities of the range of children living in Qatar. So whether it's Qatari children, or whether it's children who have been lived in Qatar for 3 generations and more, or it's children who might be third culture kids or expat children who might be here for their father's 3 years oil and gas contract, whatever that might be. Because we believe that having this strong identity and being in Qatar means that the identity is absolutely intertwined with that of Qatar. Can they have that center, that confidence, and that platform of which to be good global citizens? So that's a lot of our strategic aims. And you'll see that a lot of these aims are not cognitive and skill-based. They really are, and this is something that differentiates Dadu from a lot of children's museums, but also a lot of science centers and museums around. It is really about values. And we want to walk the talk. So we said, okay, these are the values we would like children to be cultivating. What are the values that we hold to ourselves? And for us, it's respect for the child. I think we've heard a lot of speakers talking about how capable children are, how naturally capable they are, what they are absolutely capable of achieving without adult intervention, and we have the respect for that. We want to be safe and welcoming to all, so it's about inclusiveness, it's about accessibility. We are uniquely Qatari, and we absolutely recognize that what being uniquely Qatari means doesn't mean on surface level, sadu, sand dunes, camels. Okay, but what does it actually mean for a child living in Qatar? What does it mean to be constantly saying hello and goodbye to your classmates? What does it constantly feel for some to not have their families around them during very special occasions like Eid or birthdays or Christmas or Easter or Diwali? What does it mean for some who have family here and yet they see people coming and going? What does this actually mean to them? We also believe that relationships is at the heart of everything that we do. So we heard, we know this saying, it takes a village to raise a child. And we recognize that we are one component of this village. It is our interaction with yourself. I'm assuming lots of you are teachers here, with the community organizations that are around us, with the different institutions, with the parents, with the carers, with all the people who are concerned about children. It is our relationship with you that allows us to improve our practice and for us to use our specialism to enhance yours. Research is at the heart of what we do, whether it's prototyping or it's front-end research or whether it's formative evaluation or summative evaluation to improve iteratively our products and programming, excuse me, or even taking advantage of child development research to really enhance our practice. And we say we hold ourselves to the highest professional standards, whether it's about child safety or whether it's about museum practice or whether it's about children's education. So who is our audience? What is our definition of children? Our definition of children really is for children 0 to 11 years. And this is our core target age group. We hope in time for us to expand to include teenagers and youth as well. But for now, while we are a museum in development, this is pretty much who we're focusing on. But given this core group, our secondary audience, again, it takes a village to raise a child. We know family members, caregivers, community members, school teachers, different stakeholders also play a role. And so, we've told you a little bit about how we've broken things down, how we've achieved in this learning framework that we have, not a curriculum, but we call it a learning framework, our aims, our objectives. So what we would like to ask you is, if you could have anything you wanted from a children's museum, what would you want? So if you go back to your AHA slide screen, we invite you to tell us what you think we could provide, or even a children's museum in your country if you're not in Qatar. You see a very faded background image in there. That's our internal amphitheater space, but also stairs leading from our ground floor down to our basement out into the garden. And essentially, that will be a place that we can also activate for plays, for installations, for children to perform as well. So exposure, a rich experience. We absolutely agree. Interactivity, absolutely. I know this is the most basic amount of interactivity we've worked into this, but we felt like as a museum, we just couldn't come on and do a talk to you without building in some interactivity today. Self-directed play, absolutely. Hands-on play. Some would say also minds-on play. Okay, and if you have problems getting on, again, this is the QR code to scan. So you can scan this with your mobile phone, or you can go to ahaslides.com/CZCT3. Okay, so let's see what else. Natural spaces with nature, old games they can enjoy. I assume old games being traditional games, yeah? Reusable, reduced elements. Okay, opportunities to create, I see. Catered to older ages too. Okay, absolutely. Okay, so this is all really useful. And I'm sorry, I'm having to jump to this. So thank you for saying all of that. So some of the things that we have that is absolutely in line. So we have things for exploration. So I'm just going through a few exhibits that we just chose to highlight in hope that it would align with what you felt you wanted. And here we have the story trees. And in story trees, it is one of our literacy heavy kind of exhibits, in that we have a lot of references for children to spot coming out from stories from the region as well as international stories. We have opportunities for children to express themselves, to act out, to do a play, to dress up. We also have opportunities for children, if they want, to be a bit down-tempo, grab a book and read for a while or look through pictures. But also our approach to this is, you see some dinosaur fossils in the background, and one of them will be within the story trees area and will be used to in literacy development. So asking children to actually use this fossil to go ahead and create their stories, to imagine, to then express their stories and their imagination for this. I think someone said physical play. I'll check back quickly. So interactivity, catered to older sisters, play opportunities. So we have also very physical play kind of opportunities. We know that gross motor skills is really important. We know that children need to expand and exert their energy in order to be able to calm down and focus as well. Before anyone has a heart attack about this climber, don't worry, we are not going to be sued. We rendered this without the safety netting around it. So there's no way the children can fall off the top. But at the same time, the way we design climbers like this is to build in margin of error and risk taking. So for example, in this climber, the leaves of the climber and the lower levels are actually much closer together. So younger children will be able to climb up, and after a certain height, they will find that the leaves are starting to get further and further apart, and they need to be taller, or they need to be stronger, or they need to be take more risk in order to continue up. Now, this is where children can explore their own risk appetite, their own physical capacities. And if they choose to come back down or to change route, this is where they can do it. And through exhibits like this, we hope that our galleries can remain fresh for children as they grow, and they will grow with the museum. Each time I come, I can do it a little bit differently. Yes, it's the same exhibit, but I can do it differently. I can challenge myself more, or I can create a game within it. Do I play a game of tag in there? What can I do there? We have another exhibit, which is what Conserve the Oceans, that really reflects real life, and in this case, reflects the real Qatar environment. I know someone said earlier that opportunities for actually nature play and natural play. Well, this is indoors, okay, but we are actually reflecting. Okay, I don't know why I'm getting drawings on the screen, but that's not me, a bit of magic there. But we are drawing from real life projects in Qatar, whether it's the artificial reef repopulation project, or the dugongs conservation project, or the turtle nesting and hatching projects. We are taking these and bringing the stories of the conservation scientists into the galleries, while at the same time giving children the ability to simulate building an artificial reef, going into an underwater vehicle in which they will see all sorts of rubbish, but they can also spot the dugongs eating seagrass. And in the far end, they can pretend to be conservation scientists, to be digging for turtle eggs, and also measuring them and doing data collection. So this is an example exhibit where someone said, it engages the whole family, and children from the age of 0 to 11 vary widely in what they enjoy, what they're interested in, and how they want to participate. So for the younger children, there are costumes available. Would you like to pretend to be a crab, a mud crab in the mangroves of Qatar? Would you like to swim like a dugong? Most 10-year-olds now would not be caught dressing up as a dugong or a crab and pretending in the galleries, but that's fine. They can play the role of a conservation scientist to do data collection, or as I said earlier, collect the eggs and carry out the activities to secure a nest, a turtle's nest. We also have our world exhibit, which is entirely flexible, but also gives voices to children. So these are almost like an expo pavilion, if that makes sense. They are interchangeable, where we would like children in Qatar to work with children in other countries to tell their stories. Now, there's no way we're going to be able to claim that a school group in India or a group put together by the Children's Museum in Tokyo will be the voices for their entire country, but they will be authentic voices of a specific community in those countries. And this will be a ongoing change. So every few years, we will have a new pavilion come in, and this will be done together with the children of Qatar, which allows the Qatari story to go out to different countries as well. Coming back to global citizenship, but also heritage, culture, and identity. And finally, our galleries are designed in such a way that it's not linear. We do not have a story to tell. We do not have a fixed narrative where we're telling children, this is the beginning, this is the middle, this is the end. In fact, we have designed these galleries so that there are 4 different galleries spread out. Each gallery has a similar framework, which we'll explore right at the end of this presentation, so that familiarity and orientation in one gallery gives you the same understanding of the spatial layout and the layout of the other galleries. Children can come in, and we know that when children first come into a space, they are preoccupied with orientation, spatially, but also understanding what is on offer. And so a lot of times in museum, professionals will say, the children came and did nothing but ran around the gallery for 1 hour. No, but it does take some children that amount of time to understand where their place is, how are they situated within the gallery. And so we've reduced the size of these galleries. You still can have a couple of hours of really nice time in them, but they're smaller, they're more manageable, and they are less overwhelming for the little ones, and also those with special needs. And finally, we have an extensive outdoor area. The way this was rendered is, I think there's a little bit more hard landscape that we like. There are a lot of play areas within that. To the south, we have the community gardens, where we will be inviting children to join a gardening club. They will be tending to the plants there. They will be harvesting the plants. They will be cooking with the plants, and they will be selling the vegetables and herbs and fruits of whatever they're able to cultivate in a children's market, a children's farmers market. We have on the left our programming space, where we'll be able to hold workshops, cooking sessions, indoors and outdoors, host garden parties and things like that. We have an amphitheater where we are able to do water rocket launching or host the Qatar Philharmonic Orchestra, maybe not the whole orchestra, okay, maybe a 5-piece to come in and play some music for the children. And so there's a lot more green spaces than this that's pictured outside of here that we can just allow for free play, for exploration, and for children to roll around on the grass if they like, or families to picnic. So central to everything that we do is play. Now, Shika Mayasa, our chairperson, says, what we learn through childhood, what we learn through play during childhood stays with us for life. And we sincerely believe that we understand, we know, and research has shown that when children play, they're able to explore, and experiment with their limits, their boundaries, but also their connections and relationships with things and other people. But also, this is the best way for them to internalize what they are learning, or what they're experiencing. So we're going to take you through a case study now that of one of many projects that we do. My colleague Shekhar, actually before we do that, I was going to ask a few questions about what play means to you. So again, we're going to go back to AHA slides. Okay, and I'm going to invite you to say, which of these play definitions resonate with you. So again, if you need the QR code or the website link, here it is, ahaslides.com/CZCT3. I've been told that we might have some, okay, right. Okay, so some votes are coming in. So play, it's 1/3 each, okay, that's good. Okay, so we believe that play is enjoyment and recreation rather than something definite, with a definite goal. Play is different from work. It's intrinsically motivated. Okay, so a big part of us also believe that play can be active or passive. To be honest, I think that surprises me that we got this response, because one of the things that we face is that often when we do workshops with schools or even with family groups, parents and teachers are often pushing their children to be actively participating. And we always say, if a child chooses not to participate and to stand by and watch, that's actually okay. It doesn't mean they're not taking away anything. And of course, a big part believes that play is intrinsically motivated. So the next question, I would like to ask you about your practice. Okay, what is your practice? So we have the definitions of free play and the definitions of guided play. So free play, no adult imposed goal, is child initiated, is child directed. Guided play, as adults, they choose or arrange a context for the learning. Okay, very interesting. There doesn't seem to be a middle ground here. Lots of people believe in either free play or guided play. Interesting. Okay, more of a swell down to the center voting now. Okay. Wait a few more seconds. So on average, we're 2.6. That's pretty in the middle. So lots of you are choosing, being in between free play and in between guided play. I'm really interested, how are people drawing on my screen? Is that the annotation on Zoom? Okay, and one last question again, where does your practice sit in a scale of being child-led and adult scaffolded? So how much do you give 100% agency to a child to freely pursue whatever they like? And how much do you actually provide purposeful adult support, but still try to retain child agency? Okay. Sorry, that was perhaps me being a bit OCD. I couldn't understand why I'm getting drawings on my screen. Okay, so most people are saying, yeah, quite in the middle. Some are saying that your practice is a little bit more towards adult leading the process and adult supporting the process. Now, there are different reasons for this, and we've asked people this, and the reasons could range from being the kind of pedagogy that you're approaching. It could also depend on really the age of the children, but also the needs of the children. And a lot, as we've been told, actually lies with the confidence of the adult. And this was essentially very striking for us to know this. And when Heya talks about her program, you will see why we ask these questions. Okay, so excellent. Thank you very much. And we go on to the next part of our presentation, which is our case study of the Museum in Residence and Light Atelier. And we have with us my colleague Heya, who has been an absolutely key driving force for this initiative. Heya, over to you.
Thank you, Clara. So Dadu's Museum in Residence is an initiative in which we bring our play-based practice into schools in Qatar, which we identified is a huge gap within the educational environment here. So in today's presentation, I'll discuss our Light Atelier Museum in Residence, which has received a lot of praise from both students and teachers. So next slide, please. Yeah, so let's start by talking about what is a museum in residence. So for us, the museum in residence basically seeks to develop immersive and play-based learning opportunities in schools in Qatar, where we, the Dadu team, transform regular classrooms into interactive spaces for children to explore new concepts and skills through play. Next, please. So on the screen, you can see some of the installations within the Light Atelier setup. And the aim is to support children exploring concepts of light and shadow within the specific Light Atelier. So as Clara is flipping through, and you can see some of the exhibitions. So on the right, you can see our exploded projector, which basically offers a light source hitting a mirrored surface and is projecting onto a screen, where children can identify light source, but also kind of movement of light. So next slide, please. To your right, you can see here a video playing, which shows one of our latest Light Atelier installations in Academiyati in Qatar. And so you can see in terms of the installations, we offer structured play in terms of the different installations, but also the Light Atelier is meant to be, or museum in residence is meant to be open-ended, as children choose where they want to start and are free to also move the different loose materials between the different installations. So it offers us a range of both structured and unstructured play, which really builds on our ethos and ideas of play. You can go to the next slide. So I believe this is here. So the Light Atelier offers, the museum in residence offers different components that we bring forward within the school. So one of the things that we often do is we accompany each museum residence installation with a teacher PD session. This is key to our project as we aim to work with the schools to shape the installations. Through these sessions, we often ask teachers how they feel their students will best utilize the room and really shape the room based on the needs of the individual schools. So each Light Atelier setup will actually slightly differ between school to school based on the room, but also the needs and constraints of each of the schools we're visiting. So next, please. So one of the ways in which we also support the schools is providing booklet, and within the booklet we offer things like as you can see on the screen here if you can read Arabic, is a circle time script. The aim of the circle time script, and you can see it here in English, is to really introduce students to the room, but also to support them in orientating themselves before it. And so next, please. Within the booklet, we also have things like facilitation tips. So this is really bringing in our kind of knowledge of play and really supporting them within this new environment. We also offer kind of a list of those materials we know that are locally supplied in Qatar, and the schools can source in order to best utilize the room. So next, please. I think we have it here in English. And another key component, we believe, of this booklet is the Science Explained section, which outlines the scientific concepts that are displayed within the room. And these are basically a lot of the key components that we offer through this booklet that we send out to schools as soon as we install the exhibition. So next, please. Yeah, and then the final component of this booklet is curriculum links. And we offer curriculum links for the range of different curriculums here in Doha, from government-based curriculums, IB, UK, and the US. And the reasoning for this is to really show how the museum residents can support and teach in the curriculum and really support teachers who often feel like they're constrained by the curriculum and fear kind of experimenting with how they teach the curriculum. This was our intention with this. So next slide, please. We have here, as you can see on the screen, the poster showing how we reach out to schools. And this is the way in which we promote the program. It highlights what the museum residence is, but also kind of what we need from the school. So next slide, please. So on the slide here, so for us, the museum residence stems from the concept of an artist residence. As you can see on the screen, an artist in residence really supports artists in experimenting within the museum space in order to breathe new life into the museum, but also to showcase the artist's practice to museum visitors. So next slide, please. We've taken that, and for the museum in residence, our hope is actually to inspire both teachers and students to experiment, develop new ideas, and really explore their practice and learning journeys. And the intention for this is to energize the practice of the school, but also to really bridge the gap between play-based learning and the formal education spirit in Qatar, which really places us well to this, because I feel like we are in the kind of blend of both. Really emphasizing play, but also trying to include the formal, trying to include the different ways in which children learn. Yeah. So with that, I want to thank you all, and I'll hand it back to Clara.
Sorry, I realized I was muted. Well, thank you, Haya. So the museum in residence, like Atali, is just one example of a lot of programs that we offer. And this is an example of how we take something out to schools, which has been incredibly useful during COVID, because we could enter when the kids are not in school. We set up the space, we do a session with the teachers, but then we disappear, and then it's there for the month for the children to be able to explore under the guidance, under the facilitation of the teachers. So this is us taking something out to schools, but how do we also integrate our play philosophy and these into the design of our galleries? So we talked about all these different shades of play, so to speak. We said that we understand learning by play. We value free play. We also value guided play. We understand the power of scaffolding. And how does this actually feature in one of galleries? So just taking gallery, for example. Now, we understand that children all have varying needs. Again, between the age of 0 to 11, they have extremely different desires, interests, and even just across, even for the same age, children have with different personalities, with different characters, with different interests, will approach each of our galleries differently. So just taking this gallery as an example, okay, in every single gallery, we have something that exerts energy, that uses gross motor skills. Again, as we said, we understand that children need to be active, they need motion, they need movement, they need to burn their energy. And so we give these opportunities. We understand that these are high tempo experiences. Some children will want to start with high tempo experiences. Some children do not. And actually what some children want to start off with is something a little more calm, something more manageable, something that they can slowly approach. And that's okay too. And we create spaces within the gallery for this to happen. We know that even children really young these days take on board gaming and the power of gaming in learning. And so in a lot of in every single gallery, we have a gamification exhibit that either uses virtual reality or uses the power of technology to support children to engage, interact, but also to express themselves. In each of the galleries, we have a quieter space. In this space, it's called the Creation Studio. In other spaces, it's more of the collection hubs, where it's that quiet space and perhaps it's a closer approximation to a classroom or a typical museum objects heavy museum space. This is where things are a little bit more focused. We can close off the space. It can become the time that you spend an hour there making something, creating something, exploring and investigating and studying something. We also then have in the center of each of our galleries a early years space, and these early years space is really for the 0 to 3 year olds. And we know that at 0 to 3, actually they have very different needs, but also for their own safety. And these spaces have been designed to be in the middle of every gallery, so that if your mom with a 2-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 9-year-old, you are there with your 2-year-old, you can look around and you can scan and see where your 5, 7, and 9-year-olds are. Each of the galleries also have an outdoor space where we know that in the heat of the summer, it's too much to ask people to go out to our wider gardens, to the huge gardens out there. But these terraces are shaded. They might have a bit of misting fans, and it will allow children to still be outdoors and to engage in the outdoor activities, perhaps half an hour, perhaps for 15 minutes. which is very much better than nothing. So I hope this gives you an understanding about how we consider the environment as the third teacher. We look at how we can create these foundations for play, but also create opportunities for children to really use it as they wish, but also to support the adults that they're there with to scaffold them, to perhaps initiate things. So for Dadu, what is play at Dadu? For us here at Dadu, we really believe in shades of play. We believe that play needs to be accessible. We know that a lot of you here understand the value of free play, but this is not the case for everyone in Qatar. So from free play to guided play to playing with games with rules, we believe that there's value, and we believe that they should be supported. Now, whether it's children pretending to run a shop using props and costumes provided by an adult, by yourselves, by ourselves, and our intentions was to inspire the exploration of specific vocabulary, of developing real life skills, or perhaps even learning about the jobs out in society, we believe this is invaluable. Okay. We also believe that children left to their own devices in a rich environment with no adult instructions, no provocations, no interventions. As a result, loads of arguments arising between the children, perhaps no visible achievements or outcomes at the end of the playtime. We also believe this is valuable. Playing chess with its incomprehensive rules and intricate strategy, we also believe this is play. So research shows us that different types of play supports learning in different domains across social and academic domains. So making up a game with friends actually demands a high level of communication and social interaction. This supports social emotional learning. Pretend play has been linked to increased empathy and self-regulation ability. And then joining a tinkering workshop with our museum, or hosting one in your school, is a great opportunity, even though it's step by step and there are rules and there are protocols, and it's a great opportunity to learn and practice design and iterative thinking. And this supports STEAM learning, science, technology, engineering, art, and math learning. So we believe that there's room and time for all sorts of play. And it is our responsibility, our museum's responsibility, and perhaps yours if you share it, to provide the environment and the opportunity for a range of play to happen. And it's for us to harness the power of the appropriate type of play for the magic to happen. We subscribe to the belief that the environment is the third teacher. So we strive to provide rich, authentic, meaningful environments to support child-initiated exploration and discovery. But equally, we know that there's a role for adults in child-led play. Sensible, sensitive, and flexible scaffolding led by our observations and our deep listening of children's play, and also providing constructive feedback towards a learning goal. So at our museum at Dadu, we want to provide a platform. We want to provide the foundations for free child-initiated and child-led play. But at the same time, we have a framework for initiating and scaffolding in line with our mission. We call this being child-centered. It's not necessarily child-led, but we are child-centered. And what does child-centered mean? It means child development psychology informs our practice. It means that children's needs, by talking to children themselves, by talking to the safe adults of children, by listening to the community that works with children, this is being child-centered. And our mission governs our work. To be honest, we've done a lot of surveys. I've seen a lot of surveys that different museums have done, asking children and families, what would you like our next summer exhibition to be? And usually it's about space, robots, dinosaurs, some animal of the season. But that is not necessarily our vision. So we have our vision, we have our mission, but we can be child-centered at the same time. And so we believe that children's agency and scaffolding towards specific learning aims are not mutually exclusive. We just need the right framework, we need the right attitude, and we need to have open minds to do so. So thank you very much for listening to us. I think we've gone a little bit over the time. Thank you very much for bearing with us. I'm just going to check if there are any questions here. So we have a question from Cheryl. Would Dadu work with nurseries in Qatar? We do work with nurseries in Qatar. We have early years programs, and if you go onto dadu.org.qa, yes, that's our website. Sorry for not knowing it offhand. You would be able to write into us and ask what would be available on offer. So I'll just have a look at the chat to see if there are any questions. Hey, did you pick out any questions?
Not any questions, but a lot of comments. So thank you all for your comments.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, and we are very appreciative of you listening for your time. If you have any follow-up questions, any comments, any suggestions, please do get in touch. Thank you.